What do you see as being, what's desirable in the marketplace today? What are publishers looking for and agents looking for?
Well, at the moment, and it could change, but romantasy is very big. It's exactly what it sounds like, romance and fantasy. You smash those two things together, and then you have that. Sarah J. Maas is writing into that space, Rebecca Yarros, other authors. It seems like every week there's at least three of those books on the New York Times bestsellers list, and then every week it's like a publisher buys another one of those books. But you know, it's a wave. You ride it, and then the next wave comes about. I think before that, psychological suspense was a really big thing. After Gillian Flynn's Gone Girl, it still has remained as such until the next big thing in that space comes about. For women's fiction romance, it was 50 Shades of Grey. That created a whole wave of its own. So, you know, um, they're not really publishing evergreens. They're in the world of commercial fiction, you have to, you know, be very prolific, publishing a book every 12 to 18 months because the sales tails are very thick and short, but then they immediately taper off. Whereas if you look at a book like To Kill a Mockingbird,
Yeah.
that sales tail is very long and thin, but it just goes on and on forever because it's a classic.
And it's still being taught in schools and stuff like that. Right. Right. What about the world of nonfiction memoir? What do you see there?
Nonfiction is very different. Very much so subject driven, um, and platform driven. So, it's not enough to have an interesting idea, have written the book, a well-written book. You need to really be an authority on your subject matter, it to be a unique idea. And then on top of it, publishers really want to see that you are saying something from a Broadway stage and not from a soapbox. So that's a challenge for a lot of authors. I've run into instances where I've been at conferences and someone tells me they wrote their entire book and they're ready to get it published. And I said, well, first of all, we actually sell those to publishers based on proposal and a sample chapter or two. So you didn't have to write the whole thing. And second of all, you need a platform. And they say, what's that? And, there's a big look of disappointment on their face, but, you try and help them and say, look, everyone had to start somewhere. So conceive of a platform, build it. There are books written on the subject, and good luck with it.
Do you have specific recommendations for people about building a platform, Mark?
Look, I think you could be surprised. You never know where something could come from. So, for instance, Cheryl Strayed, before she wrote Wild and it became a national bestseller, and the movie with Reese Witherspoon, she had published, I think, kind of like as an essay or excerpts from the book in the Huffington Post. And then it went viral. Publishers were reaching out to her, you know. So there are ways of doing that. You can think of it as, well, I'm just throwing pebbles in a pond. Well, guess what? Every time you throw a pebble, there's many, many ripples. And you never know what could be living under the surface in a pond. There could be a really big fish under there.